There's a whole lot of talk these days about calamities, nuclear war, famine, earthquakes, natural disasters, global warming. I mean, just sit around and you're going to be scared halfway out of your wits about what could happen in the world. I think a lot of it's valid, and I think a lot of it needs to be listened to. Take a little bit of grain of salt. But the reality of it is anything could happen. Whether you're an end time, end of the world kind of guy, or uh, government's going to come down and get us, really doesn't make any difference to me. But the problem is there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I think we need to have a little bit of a reality check. So, I'm going to take a little bit of time here, try to put together several videos to see if we can get a little common sense going here. So if you guys will sit back, we'll talk about a few events and what we can do to prepare for them. All right, let's talk about some of the scary stuff that we've been hearing since we were little bitty kids. Um, I'm going to talk about the first one being nuclear war. Okay, I'm going to be real with you. If we have a thermal nuclear war with a country like Russia or China, to where these mega uh, ton warheads are used, if you live in a town like Dallas or New York or Washington and they drop one of those puppies on us, go outside and enjoy the view, because you're not going to want to live through that, all right? You're not going to want to hunker down in your shelter in your house or whatever, in your basement, and live through it, because the radiation will be a very slow and painful death if you're not vaporized from the get-go. As for me, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to get vaporized, because I don't want to put up with that, because you're going to be dead. All right. Now, if they have a terrorist action, well, then that's most likely going to be a smaller warhead, something used more the size of what was used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, about 10 kilotons. That is, if you're not at ground zero, that is survivable. If you survive the initial blast, okay, I'm just going to go through this real quick. You can tell how much radiation poisoning you got basically from the time it takes you to start getting sick to your stomach. The longer it takes you to start getting sick, the less radiation you got. You got three kinds of radiation. First two are particles, alpha and beta particles. This is the stuff that kind of falls down from the atmosphere after the blast. Um, that stuff you don't want to stay on your skin very long. You want to get it washed off. You definitely don't want to breathe it. The sooner you get sick, and I'm talking about within hours. If you start getting sick to your stomach within hours, you're a goner. Okay, let's talk about surviving that blast. If you survive, first of all, don't look at the blast. It'll be an extremely bright flash. It'll probably blind you if you look at it. The brightness will only last a few seconds, so divert your eyes from it. After the initial blast, pay attention to where it's coming from. If you're facing that blast, your face is to it, and you feel the wind on your face, you're in a bad spot, and you need to vacate that area as quickly as possible. You need to either go north or south. Well, yeah, of the blast, of where the wind's coming from, to your left or your right. I'm sorry. You want to go as far away, and that's the quickest way to get away from it. Because the wind's going to carry the radioactive fallout with it. Some first aid items to have available, and you need to already have it, is some potassium iodine. You've heard a lot of folks talk about how that'll protect you against radiation sickness. Well, it does to a degree. It pretty much protects your thyroid. Okay, another good material to have on hand would be zeolite. That's right, zeolite. Do your research on it. Learn how to use it. A lot of people don't know about zeolite, but it's great for radiation poisoning. Okay, I'm going to group natural and man-made disasters together, and that's just simply for ease of survivability, because what we're just going to talk about is just common sense. Um, no matter what whether it's a flood, a tornado, earthquake, something that shuts down public works for a while, could be a financial collapse, could be a pandemic, something that they would install martial law over. Well, if something like that happens, you're going to be confined to your house, and you need to have some supplies. You need to have water. Okay. Now, just in a survival, you're just sitting around the house kind of mode. Uh, a woman's going to need 2 to 3 liters minimum a day, and a man's going to need 4 to 6 liters of water a day. Child would need probably 2 to 3 liters a day as well, depending on the size of the child. We could lose public works in a heartbeat. If you have time, uh, start filling your tub up with water. You might also want to consider buying some food grade poly drums. They make them in 5 gallon, 15 gallon, 30 gallon, and 55 gallon drums. You can even get a large tote that'll hold, a couple of 200 or 300 gallons of water. The thing about it, you have to keep up with keeping the water clean. Also, you need to have food. You guys know that. We've seen from natural disasters like Katrina that within a few days the grocery shelves are empty. Okay, well, let's put that in perspective. If there's a big shutdown and I mean something bad happens and the government can't come and save our little tails, and we've got to make do with what we got, and we're out of food in a city within 3 to 4 days. Well, what are people going to start doing? They're going to get desperate. We don't want to talk about what people are willing to do when they get desperate. And guys, don't be one of these idiots that say, "Well, I'll board my house up and we'll have guns sticking out of every window." That's about as stupid as thing, because see, if there are criminals out there that, hey, if I can't get you groceries, ain't nobody gonna come get you groceries because I'm burning your house down. So here you go. You're gonna die in your house. They're gonna get you groceries. So we'll talk about that a little bit further down the line. But you need to have some food. You need to have water. And guys, you can live a lot longer without food than you can water. Um, you're going to start being in trouble after about 2 or 3 days without any water. Food, you can go, depending on how hefty you are, you can go, a month without food. And it takes water to digest food. So if you're low on water, you don't want to eat. So just have that water. Okay, so I'm going to suggest that you keep 7 to 10 days worth of food, water, and medication if you're on medication. Usually it takes that long for public works to get back online and help to get to you. The reason not more than 7 to 10 days worth of materials is because longer than that is probably something really bad has happened, and you're going to need to go to Plan B, which we're going to start discussing that in our Survival 101 Part 2.